What's new? Hybrid learning. What is it? What does it look like? We talk to parents about preparing their kids for a whole new kind of class.
What's new in coronavirus testing? A saliva test with a low price tag and speedy results that could help get America back to work and play.
Connecting without crowds. The Democratic National Convention begins tonight in Milwaukee, and it's totally virtual. What will it look like, and who will you hear from tonight?
Change your strategy. Advice from people who lost their jobs but found new careers during the pandemic.
Just relief. Just happy that it's done.
Jim Donovan has the first post-fight interview with Stipe Miocic. Hear what he says about the win and his plans for the future. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is, and I want to start by saying I hope everybody had a terrific weekend. I know Betsy did. Yeah. I certainly did. Happy Monday and welcome to What's New. We're ready for another week, Bets. Should be a busy week.
So this has been like the longest summer break in history for a lot of families. It didn't, it didn't really feel like summer got started. We had the at-home schooling, then officially summer started, and then the finish line now keeps moving as to when break will be ending. But for a lot of school districts in Northeast Ohio, this is the first week back to school during the pandemic. And while some will be returning to the classroom, there's a lot of others that are starting online. Interestingly, Tiffany Tarpley will be telling us that the first day anxiety is at a new level for both educators and parents.
We are outside of Lindsay Elementary School here in Geauga County, and can you believe it? The first day of the fall semester begins tomorrow, and parents lined up here in front of the school to pick up their students' supplies. For some, that includes a Chromebook. In the West Geauga School District, the first 3 weeks of the semester will include remote learning for all. But after Labor Day, students will either be learning in person or online. It's the parents' choice. District leaders tell me that 70% of students will be back in the classroom. These are pictures of what those rooms will look like. Desks spaced 6 feet apart, and the number of students in one class based on the square footage. I spoke with two parents, one who chose in-person instruction, the other virtual.
My husband's a first responder, so we already had a COVID scare. I don't want to go through that again. And he's not big on wearing the mask all day. And although we love masks, we love wearing them to the store, we're totally participating, but all day that's a lot for these little ones, I think.
It feels different. I gotta be honest, I wasn't happy with the 3 weeks starting virtual because I did choose in person, and I do work, so that's gonna be difficult. However, it was kind of a relief today that I didn't have to think of new school outfit and getting them on a bus and everything.
Both parents I spoke with today say families need to make the choices that are best for them, and everyone should respect those decisions. Now, when classes are back in person here at this building or anywhere else in this district, there will be hand sanitizing stations outside of the classroom, and they will be doing daily deep cleanings. In Chesterland, Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
Well, this is certainly new for everybody. Here we go again, everybody, right? That we have to try and figure all this out together. Well, we want to see what you're doing to get ready for back to school. Are you stocking up on supplies, maybe some masks? Or are you trying to find a deal on one of those big graphing calculators? You can use the Near Me feature on the WKYC app to show us how you are getting ready to head back. Just open the app, click Near Me in the lower right corner, and tap Share with Us on the next screen. It's easy, it's fun, and it's a great way to let us know what's going on in your world. Well, today in Ohio, we have 775 new coronavirus cases. That's well below the 21-day average, which is over 1,000. But it is an increase from yesterday when we had 613 new cases.
Betsy, I know it's really hard to take anything from 2 days worth of numbers, particularly when the numbers are all over the place. But we want to give you somewhat of an idea how much the cases are down over the past 2 days. Ohio's new cases over the last 48 hours are down a dramatic 39% from our 21-day average. Also, this is terrific news. This is the big indicator, the number that so many with the World Health Organization emphasize. That's the positivity rate. We are now down to 3.7% of all tests coming back positive. That is the second lowest daily total since this pandemic began. Also new, Hospitalizations, they are up slightly with 933, but they are still well below our 21-day average. And deaths, 6 recorded today, up from just 2 yesterday. And again, a very small sample size, so we shouldn't read too much into this, but it is worth pointing out our 2-day death total is down 83% from our 21-day average. Certainly, as we've seen, these numbers are all over the place and likely to change. Now, over the weekend, there was a big development in the fight against COVID-19 as researchers at Yale received emergency use authorization for a saliva test to detect the virus. This is new. They're essentially giving the test to any approved lab that wants it around the world. But will it come to Northeast Ohio? Let's break it down with our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now. Monica, a very good afternoon to you. Other than not having to get that swab shoved up your nose, what is so special about this test?
Well, Jay, if you've talked to anybody who's ever had to get a COVID test done by a medical person at one of those drive-thrus, you will know that they are not really comfortable. So the first thing about this test is that you just spit in a tube. It's a lot more convenient, easier, and second, Yale says results can be turned around in about 24 hours. But the biggest benefit, they're suggesting labs only charge $10 for it. So that cheap price would make it much easier to test many more people more frequently. But it can only go to FDA-approved labs, of which we are lucky because we do have some here.
So if they're making it available at no charge, when will we get it here? And Monica, also, we know that when it comes to athletics, one of the stipulations was that these athletes need to be tested often and frequently, and a lot of the school districts said we can't afford that. This perhaps makes it more affordable for some of these schools to do tests more frequently.
Yeah, let me handle that question first. Absolutely, that would be more beneficial. The problem is that the general public or school districts can't buy this test because it's where it has to be analyzed. So you need to do it in an FDA CLIA lab. And of those, Cleveland Clinic and UH are those. And both UH and the clinic tell me that they are considering it, but there are still some unanswered questions about it. And likely they want to see if results in the real world match the results that Yale researchers have found. Plus, there are some other issues.
We looked at saliva in symptomatic patients and compared it to nasopharyngeal swab. And what we found was it gave basically the same answer. We called all the positives positive and the negatives negative. The issue was, unlike the initial Yale study, we found a slightly lower viral load in saliva compared to nasopharyngeal swabs. And with lower viral load, you start worrying about losing sensitivity.
And Dr. Prokop also told me the test would not be beneficial if you're testing a lot of people with no symptoms because the risk of false positive gets a lot higher. And he's also concerned that the Yale test cut out a step of extracting elements of the virus to speed up results. And that, too, could potentially affect sensitivity. But the clinic and UH, like I said, are still considering using this test, but it may be a while before it's available here. And remember, with nearly any type of testing, there's always a chance for a wrong result, depending on a slew of different factors. But there is a lot of hope with this one. And Rutgers, Jay, has also developed a similar test that Major League Baseball players are using every other day. So this could be definitely the future. We just have to wait and see. You know, we still need to dot some I's and cross some T's.
All right, very good. Just another step closer. Monica, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Changing gears now, and if you didn't already know, we are in the middle of election season, but it really kicks into high gear tonight with the start of the Democratic National Convention. The Republicans will take the stage next week, but this year's conventions will be unlike any we have seen in the history of our country. That's because we are, of course, in the middle of this pandemic. There will be no packed conventions, as everything will take place online. Also unusual, former Ohio Governor John Kasich, a Republican, will take the stage tonight to endorse Joe Biden. Tonight's other speakers will include Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Michelle Obama will be the keynote speaker. Brandon Simmons is a veteran of covering these conventions. Never anything like this, and Brandon joins us now. Brandon, a very good afternoon to you. I would ask you what we should expect tonight, but I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think anyone knows. In one word, if I had to describe this convention, I'd say it's going to be weird. Now, the entire purpose of a convention is for people to convene, right, and get together with one another. Obviously, amidst the coronavirus pandemic, that's something that just can't happen. Now, in all of this, I think the biggest loser is the city of Milwaukee, missing out on the economic influx of money and all of the free publicity that comes with hosting a convention like this. Instead, we're going to see this virtual setting. It's mostly a technical equipment setup manned by a small staff of people to make sure you can watch the convention on some of your favorite platforms at home. Now, you'll, of course, be able to catch the shared feed on broadcast networks like ours, but the event will also be streamed on Facebook, YouTube, Apple TV, Roku, you name it. You can hear all of the audio also on Alexa-enabled devices if you have those in your home. Now, what I think we'll be missing is the atmosphere that surrounds the event. Hearing those big names you mentioned, of course, is just not the same without the crowd to go along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all going to learn together how this changes the setting and the feel. Brandon, I mentioned you're a veteran. You've been to 4 conventions over the last 8 years. You've seen how that enthusiasm can build